Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank you very much for your continued support to this channel and for taking your time to be part of our viewers and listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since I released my last video. I took a break because I attended to my mom who was very sick. She was actually admitted, but I thank God that at least now she's improving and I believe she'll get well. A lot has happened, and there are quite a myriad of political activities that have taken place. But I want to just pick it from where I left it. Today, the pilot who was flying the ill-fated military chopper that ended the lives of 9 soldiers, including the late General Francis Ogolla, was laid to rest today. And it reminded Kenyans of the pain that we have as a nation. But something happened that I really want us to look at. During the burial of General Ogolla, Eden Duale said something that shocked me personally, and many people discussed this, that for the very first time, Duale exonerated Ogolla about the narrative that Ogolla went to Bomas to overturn Ruto's victory. And Dwale said that they had a conversation with the late Ogolla for over 2.5 hours when Ogolla told him that this narrative that he went to Bomas to overturn Ruto's victory was causing him sleepless nights, and so he wanted to explain this to Dwale as the defense minister. And later he went to Ruto to explain the same, and Dwale confirms that that he saw, or Ogolla showed him, 3 messages that when he went to Bomas, he realized that things were not the way he thought, and so he sent a message to his boss, who is now the retired General Kibochi. And even after, in fact, it is said Dwale kept them waiting for 5 hours, not Dwale but Chebukati, who's the former IEBC chairman. And then when Chebukati resurfaced, he told them, I am releasing the results by 3 p.m. And even when he mentioned this to the boss, Kibochi still ordered him to stay put at Bomas. And so Dwale decided to sanitize and exonerate General Ogolla when he was no more. He could not defend himself. This is one narrative that was created even at the Supreme Court when they said that Ruto's victory was about to be overruled and overturned. Were it not for the brave nature of Wafula Chebukati. And this caught my attention, ladies and gentlemen. Why someone would decide now to exonerate Ogolla when he's dead, while they really tarnished his name when he was alive, and they maintained this. The whole Kenya Kwanza brigade, including Duale himself, including the Ruto's very close ally Sudi, warned him. And even Ruto himself said that Ogolla was the one who was heading that delegation that wanted to overturn his victory. And when you listened to Duale, you realize that now that Ogolla is dead, they have turned the gun to his boss, General Kibochi. And is saying that it is Kibochi who ordered him, because in the military ranks or in that field, it is a yes sir kind of engagement. You don't overrule your boss. You cannot say no when you're directed by your boss. It happens in the police. So now that Ogolla is gone, there is a narrative that must be perpetuated. It is the narrative that got Ruto into power. For those who have listened to my analysis over the years, I've always maintained that this government, or the engagement within the government, is like a marriage among the Kenya Kwanza team a marriage between Ruto and Kenyans. And this marriage was founded on falsehood. And it will take some kind of falsehood mechanism to maintain it. Just like when you get your partner by lying, you must maintain the lies for that marriage to stand. And I want us to look at why now and why they have to turn the gun to General Kibochi, because that is the narrative now. You know, the Kenya Kwanza supporters were told that our victory was about to be taken. It was Chebukati who stood firm, and it was General Ogolla who wanted to overturn this victory. So General Ogolla is not there. And I want to explain why this narrative must not end when the life of Ogolla has ended. It has to be perpetuated. Why? Number one, it is the narrative that got them into power, and so it has to be perpetuated for 5 years. After 5 years, they will get another narrative. You remember they got into power by hustlers versus the dynasty. And that, Uhuru never wanted him to get to power. He tried using the deep state and the powers that be. So this narrative must not end, even though the life of Ogolla has not ended. The only thing that they now switch is the fact that now what they should have told Ogolla when they was alive, or what they should have told us was, Ogolla was innocent. He was directed by his bosses. And we thought as much, but they kept on maligning his name. So Kibochi, General, must bear this brand for 5 years, because this is what keeps this marriage going. For the supporters of Kenya Kwanza to feel that, they bullied and tortured our man psychologically. They wanted to overrule and overturn his victory. It elicits sympathy and emotions that even though Ogolla is gone, so it was, General Kibochi who had ordered Ogolla to go and overturn the victory of William Ruto. That sympathy and emotion is something that William Ruto wants. It is the one that will keep this government moving. It is the one that will keep this government going on, this blame game, so that his supporters will not say that, no, Ogolla was innocent, but there is someone who must bear that blame. Sympathy and emotions in government is something that Ruto really likes. Do you remember at some point he said, Uhuru, don't kill my children? It was meant to elicit the sympathy. If you talk to the Kenya Kwanza Brigade, the supporters, they will tell you, so Kibochi was a bad man. He's the one who, now they have, that is the news on the streets. Back then, before this was released, they were telling us, oh, Ogolla is a Luo, and they wanted Raila, who is a Luo, to ascend to power. Now it has changed. And I told you that politicians are opinion shapers. Now they have directed a narrative that, Kumbi Ogolla was just innocent, and it was General Kibochi. So the sympathy and emotions must be maintained. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, the man at the center of all this hullabaloo is none other than the former IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati. He has borne the blame game. People have said he's the one who plunged this country into this mess that we are in. And so Chebukati must be sanitized. If you sanitize Ogolla and then there is no one to bear the brand, then Chebukati will remain a very implicated man. He will remain culpable. And so for him to stay sanitized, for him to stay innocent, you must maintain that narrative that someone wanted to overturn the victory. Some people came to intimidate him, but he stood firm. But now that Ogolla is not there and someone is saying that he was not the one, then who was the one? Chebukati must remain sanitized. And that is why General Kibochi is the one who must be there to sanitize Ogolla. To sanitize Chebukati. That Chebukati was this gallant civil servant, this gallant and brave chairman who withstood all the pressure and intimidation to overturn Ruto's victory and to give Kenyans what they had voted for. And so sanitizing Wafula is at the center of everything. Do you remember we were told that someone wanted to kill Wafula Chebukati and that they were to form a commission of inquiry into who wanted to kill? And we were told that very soon we would know the truth. Do you remember the story about the container of blood and all this? So Wafula Chebukati must be sanitized. Number 4, Uhuru must continue bearing the brand. He was the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. And so when you implicate General Kibochi, then they are in this together with Uhuru Kenyatta. By saying that Kibochi ordered General Ogolla to go to Bomas to overturn the will of the people, you are saying he was working under who? Under the patronage of the former president of Kenya, who was the commander-in-chief of all of the armed forces. And so he wants to impact because he has continued to blame Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru was the man who should be blamed for the economic mess they have inherited, quote in quotes, a dilapidated economy. Uhuru never wanted him, even after promising that Uhuru would do 10 terms and hand over the baton to him. So everything that they said, they must not lose touch of what they said. That must remain in the minds of their supporters. Because he has always said Uhuru was bad. If they had sanitized General Ogolla, then who bears the blame? Uhuru Kenyatta and General Kibochi. Because General Kibochi had the powers to order General Ogolla. But above General Kibochi, Uhuru had the powers to order him. And so Uhuru must be implicated in this. Fortunately for General Kibochi, he's retired. I don't know what they're going to do. I think for the period that he remains alive, he will bear this brand. He will bear the blame game. He will continue to sanitize Ruto, sanitize Chebukati. He will bear this narrative and is the one who will be used as a scapegoat for everything that happened. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I still wonder why they could not tell us when General Ogolla was alive and tell him on his face that, General, you were very innocent, you were sent. I don't know why Ruto was telling us that General Ogolla's name did not even feature on the names, among the names that he was given by the military council. I don't know why. So they found it fit to sanitize him on his deathbed. That was so shocking. I don't know what to think about Duale and the blame game, and now the guns that have been turned to General Kibochi. What do you think is happening, ladies and gentlemen? And I think I wanted to highlight that because that is where I left. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe if you're watching for the first time. Don't forget to click the notification bell, share our videos and your views. Again, thank you very much.